Hi. So this week we looked at intelligence. And we often think about intelligence based on the bell curve, different bell curve than the book you guys talked about, with the idea that most people have an IQ around 100, but the range is 80 to 120 for the majority of people. And then we look at standard deviations on the bell curve for either working towards genius or an intellectual and developmental disability. Somebody who is 65 or so would be considered to have an intellectual developmental disability, and 140 or so would be genius level. But let me pose this question to you. Is an IQ test fair? If I were to give you an IQ test, Wechsler adult version, the WACE we call it, and give it to you written all in British English, how well do you think you would do with that test? Or if I were to test you on how to rebuild an engine, how well would you do? Or how to bake the best chocolate souffle. My point is that there are many flaws with IQ testing. Sure, they give us a ballpark picture of where someone's functioning, and it is helpful for many things, like if somebody does need extra supports in school, or if they understand things really great but they don't have a great reading ability. That tells us something about how to support that person. But it doesn't give us a whole picture of who that person is. We don't know what their schooling experience was. We don't know if they had the access to textbooks, or if they were able to focus on learning because they were hungry and in poverty. So the idea is that there are many different types of IQ. We have social IQ, we have emotional IQ, we have kind of a street smart IQ. But IQ tests don't measure all of those things. They really look at verbal ability and performance ability. The other thing is that they are not culturally fair. They are written for white middle class students. Upper class tend to still do well on them because they have many of the same access as middle class people do, but they are not racially or socioeconomic class relevant. That's why I say if you were to take the test written with British English, you probably wouldn't respond as well because you wouldn't know what all of those terms mean. This has been pointed out for a long time that these tests are culturally insensitive, to the point that actually in California it is illegal to give someone who is black an IQ test. So there is an extra credit assignment, and you can actually delve into it a little bit deeper if you want. I have a link to Radiolab podcasts, and there is one called Problem Space, and it's about IQ testing and the validity of all of it. The first one is about the miseducation of Larry, I believe, and it's about how that law came into being, and then there's a couple of others related to IQ. Another place that IQ testing could be helpful, though, is for lead exposure. We know that lead exposure greatly diminishes IQ scores, so we want to know for kids in Flint what that impact has been. So IQ does have a place, but we have to understand that it is very limited based on some of these factors that I've already explained, and that there are other types of IQ that can give us a more rounded picture of people, but a person is not just a number. So again, there's that extra credit opportunity. Watch it, send me a paper through email. Let me know if you have questions. Have a great week. Happy Halloween.